రిటర్న్ తీసుకుంటారు. ఆ కవర్ ఉంది కదా.
Yeah. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. So you call it demo or regular session? Today we will discuss about IOC container. Okay. Monday we will start with the dependency injections. Anyway, same topic I'll repeat daily basis until we get into the last topic, right? I used to repeat the things, most of the things every day. Okay. So today, why I invited is I want to discuss about IOC followed by yesterday's session. So yesterday we discussed MVC architecture. Okay. You guys followed that session? So far we discussed about our course content and the way of the training, how it goes and what it is aimed for. Okay. So this is the content that we taught: Spring Framework, Boot and microservices. Total 50 plus sessions will be included with videos and class practice. Book, everything will be shared. So the first session we started with MVC. Okay, this is very important for any application development. This architecture. Hello guys. Hello.
Hi Naveen, we can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. So to construct application, same way like how we need the housing plan, with plan how we follow, from puttings to slab, constructing walls and finishing activities, how we follow, right? Same way. MVC will guide you how to construct an application. Instead of clubbing all the code together, like your presentation logic, controller, business, validation, security, logging, lot of code we write right as part of application. So what MVC says, if your code is for a particular task, implement it as a separate class and maintain it in a separate package. Right package naming conventions you need to follow. Right? If you put a class inside a package, you need to give right package name. Let's say while putting your, movies or audios, how you will create folders in your mission. Similar way, you need to create packages for your classes also, so that easily who wants to see movies by looking into the folder name movies, they should able to directly go and find it easily. So while you are putting your classes also, if it is for connecting with the front end, you need to put them into controller packages. If you have business logic, you need to put it into service logic, service package or business package. If your classes are for database, you need to use DO package. Like that, we maintain separate package structure itself. Within that package, we put all these classes. Presentation layer will be maintained separately. Nowadays, we are using a separate frameworks itself for front-end implementation like Angular, React. Front-end people are working separately. Back-end people are working separately. Earlier, we used to work to, keep everything together. Front-end code, back-end code, everything together. Back-end people used to work here. Of course, UX team used to design all the UI layouts, headers, footers, menus, everything. And forms used to developed by backend team. Okay, everything they used to stitch together, front end, back end. Even nowadays also you can create if your application is smaller one and if you don't have infrastructure separate for front end and back end. Maybe you can club them together, but maintain separate packages. For front end, we will have separate packages. For controllers, we have separate packages. For business, for DAO. When you maintain them logically separate packages and separate classes, right, you will be seeing a lot of readability. When you want to explain to somebody, they can directly go into the code and they can read. Self-explanatory. By looking into the packages, they can understand, okay, this may be the controller class, which is reading the data. This may be the business class, which is handling all the business operations. And by looking into the package, repository or DAO, they might understand, okay, this may be DAO class. Okay, how we will maintain these packages generally in web application, right? This is the package structure that we follow. If it is a web application, we will have src folder and web app folder. Under this src, we will create our package names. Generally, package name starts with com or org. So usually, applications developed in your offices, right? You used to put starts with com dot your client name. Let's say you are working for ICICI Bank, ICICI application dot. If that application is for credit cards management system, something credit card management system, CMS. If it is customer management system, so something customer portal or customer. There will be a lot of applications. If it is a rewards application, rewards and awards application, RAP, something like that. Okay, if it is employee management system of ICICI, EMS, they might have thousands of applications. So depends on your application name, you put application till com.ici.ems. To put your controller classes, which responds to front end, right? So we will create controller package, controller, REST, or web. You can use any naming convention here. Usually we use controllers. Most will use controller name for the package. Here we will place all the controller classes. What these classes do inside web app, right? Here we will put all our views. Again, you can create subfolders. There you can have your views, index.html, maybe main page. From here, you may have different pages based on your links. If it is an employee management system, something add employee.html, list of employees.html. All your presentations you will have here. For this presentation, you will be having controller classes here. Maybe in this controller package, you can have the classes which you want for front end. This controller classes job is they read data from these pages. Let's say if you have a controller here, employee controller. Here you will have two methods. Employee controller class will have two methods. Again, one is for add employee, So one add method, whichever inputs you send from front end, right? Let's say if you are sending his name, email, blah, blah, blah. You can put all that parameters here. Add employee. If you want to list employee, maybe one find call, which will display all the employees. One find method, which will return list as a return type. So the controller job is, as per architecture, this controller job is, it will read data first, which is coming from front end. Whatever data you are sending from your front end pages. For one or more pages, you have one controller. So you will be implementing one controller class with add method, find method. And then next. For this add or find method, you need to implement business logic. ICICI dot EMS dot business classes usually will put it under service package. You may name them services also. Usually we call them business classes. So once the data, whenever you submit, right, this data will be sent to controller first. This is the step one. The data will go to controller, your views data. Then controller will forward that data to business class. So you need to implement one business class here in this package, employee service or employee business. You name it whatever you want. Employee service. So here also you can have two business methods. Add, same name, whatever you are getting from presentation, you can send here, and find method, which will return list value. Guys, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. Just a minute, guys. Yeah. Yeah. So as soon as data received to controller, controller will send it to service. Service wants to permanently save data into database. For that purpose, we write TO classes. com.icici.employee management system.dao package. Under this DAO package is nothing but your folder only. Okay, com is the main folder, inside com ICICI folder, inside ICICI EMS folder, inside EMS one controller folder, service folder, DAO folder. Okay, we call them packages. In that package, employee DAO. Employee DAO class. Here also you'll have to add data into database, one save method. Save method will take inputs and it will save it into database. Find method will fetch data from database and it will return the list values. Final destination is DAO. So the DAO will help service to save the data. This add method will call save. Save will permanently save data. Find method will call list. So it will fetch data from database. Here we will have all the database scripts. Finally, this is the one who connects with your database. So we'll be having separate database machine, database software. We connect with the database via DAO. So DAO will fetch data from database and it will excuse me. So all the fetch operations, save operations will happen via DAO itself. So this is how we will follow naming conventions, and this is how we will separate our code. Views write separately, controller separately, service separately, DAO separately. So as soon as I follow this architecture, right, everybody follows the same architecture. So they can easily able to read directly. They can go to your code and they can understand. Inside web app, they can expect views. So they can read views. Usually we will maintain index.html as a main page. So the first thing, everybody will go to index.html and they will see how many links we have. They might find add employee list employee screens. So they'll go to immediately list employee screen and they can read the form, how he implemented form. Usually we create HTML forms, right? Name, email, address, whatever fields you want to save. So he will read form and understands, okay, from presentation, they want to send name, email, address. Okay. In this form itself, they will see what HTTP call you implemented. Is it a post call or get call? Usually if it is add employee, you might have added post with URL. So he will take that URL, he will copy that URL directly. I'm talking about after your implementation. If somebody try to read, okay, I did implemented it already. I left the company, you joined in my place. So for your convenience or for all other convenience, I followed MVC architecture and created them for easy readability and maintainability. So you understand which form I'm submitting here. So straight away you will visit controller. As you know the MVC architecture, from presentation to next step, you go and read is controller. So you copy URL and you go to controller and check URL, where your URL configured. Is it on add method or find method? Easily you can understand. By looking into the method name itself, you can understand easily. So that's how naming conventions we follow, right? Without naming conventions, if you write code during reviews, right, your team members will not allow you to commit. They will say use proper naming conventions. So for every method or for every variable, for every class, while you are naming, right, proper naming conventions you should follow. If it is a controller, for what this controller is, for employee management, then add employee controller. So easily I can understand some employee CRUD operations happening in this controller. When I see employee service, it may be related to employee operations. When I see employee DAO, it may be doing employee database operations. And when I see methods also should be self-explanatory. When I see method name add, okay, I can imagine easily this is for adding, maybe with your view name or maybe, based on the task name, you can put that method naming conventions here. So it is easy to read. So whoever is reading your code, he can go to controller package immediately. He will identify which method you implemented. From there, his journey is easy. Once from view to controller, he identified, right? So he can click on service class. In Eclipse, right? If you click on a method, it will easily direct you to the next page. So easy to direct from here to service to DAO. Easily you can understand how people implemented classes. So if any changes, if I ask in add employee page, add one more column GST. GST is newly invented. So we need to add that GST. So you directly go there, you will add GST column. Immediately you will go to controller. There also you will add one GST extra field. You will go to service. There also you will add. You will go to DAO. There also you will add GST. Finally, you will go to table. In table also you will add one more extra column GST. Then whenever you restart and test, it will work with the new column also. So for all these, what you need to know first, MVC architecture. Even you to write that classes or you to read that classes. Okay, you follow or everybody should follow MVC architecture. Not only Java developers, everybody, Java developers or .NET or Python, PHP, wherever. You should follow this MVC architecture for better coding and better readability. And your application classes will become loosely coupled also, as I said yesterday, right? Your application classes will become loosely coupled. If you imagine the entire application is like a bus or car, this front end is one wheel, controller is another wheel, business is a DAO, if you consider they are backend wheels. So these wheels easily you can remove and you can attach new wheel, like how when car wheel damaged or it got punctured, you install stepney tire, right? Similar way, when a particular wheel got damaged or when a particular wheel, its AC is done. My car almost drawn for 120 kilometers, 20,000 kilometers. I installed tires already at around 70-80,000. I removed the tires and installed new tires. Now again, that new tires also gone. Almost their life is end. After 5 or 10,000, again I need to install new tires. So how flexible your tires are, easily you can remove and add them. New tires you can install. Because car itself is supporting you to remove your old tires or old wheels. 15-inch, 16-inch wheels I have. If I want 17-inch wheels, I can install. If I need alloy wheels or different color wheels, I can easily install them. So that flexibility we have. How we got that flexibility? During cars or bus or bike designing, they given that flexibility with nuts and bolts. They given the fitting. So easily I can remove nuts and I can remove my wheel and I can install new wheel. So if that is applicable for automobile industry, why can't for your software? Not only for automobile industry. If you see anything, right, they will give plug and play. Even if you see your phones, easily you can remove the SIM card and you can insert new SIM from the different providers. They understand the critical part of any application or a car or a phone. Whichever things need to be removed and added, they given flexibility to remove them and to add. In your application also, you may need to follow the same to do that. In future, if you want to discard something and if you want to add, I implemented application by clubbing everything together. This is like, a permanent fixing. We can't touch them. We can't remove them because lot of tightly coupled code you might write here. So it is not easy to add something new or it is not easy to remove something from this application. But if you maintain it as a separate layer, presentation, controller, business, DAO, it will give very flexibility to you. Let's say I implemented application, a small scale business application. Let's say you want to, in your city, you want to sell milk. You hide one guy, or in your city, you want to, implement a rental portal. So you hide one team and they are working on it. They will go to the physical locations, they will capture images and they will put it in your portal. From there, people will search based on their needs and they will give little bit commission to you and they will get that particular home for a rent. So if it is a small scale application, initially there are no much choices to you. So you pick to Oracle database. Monthly you are paying for database 1,000 rupees and for your application 1,000, 2,000 rupees you are investing, or some 5,000 rupees you are investing on your infrastructure after your deployment. So later you realize that not only Oracle, we have many databases which are open sources, which are free. Then you realize that, okay, let me discard the database, whichever I have currently. Oracle to MySQL, I wanted to shift a free database I have. So if I want to choose new database, if I want to convert my application Oracle to MySQL, when I hire a one developer or the maintenance team, I need these changes. Please charge whatever you want and do the changes to MySQL. So easily you can discard existing DAO and you can add new MySQL DAOs here. because so far I used rkill database DAOs here. So rkill database queries I have here. So I want completely remove this DAO and attach new DAO. You can do that. This wheel time is gone. So I removed it and I'm adding new wheel, which is implemented for MySQL. So the removing a part from application is easy and fixing new part is easy. If you follow MVC architecture, easily you can remove one layer and you can attach new layer there, because you are not tightly coupling your code. Okay, so when you follow MVC architecture, you will get that capabilities. Easy to read, easy to maintain, and your application classes will become loosely coupled. So this is the basic architecture everybody should follow. Basic architecture, very, very basic architecture everybody should follow. Okay, now I want to go into the Spring IOC topic. Okay,
Sir,
so
excuse me.
yeah.
Sir, in the controller, so just like we are fetching the values from the HTML pages, that code will be written over there, right?
Correct.
And the request.get parameter we use in the servlets, that type of code.
Yes, exactly. If you're aware of servlets, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Request
Okay,
dot
sir.
get parameter, we read data, and finally you send response, right? Response dot get writer dot println. You will send response back, or
Yes, sir. And
send a
if we
redirect.
want to write process some logic over there, then we will write in service layer.
Exactly.
And
So
then after
the
we will
business
process
logic
to
you should not write in here. So if you have any processing logic, validations up to validation security you can put here. But if it is particularly business, while adding, right, while adding this employee data or phone number, or let's say employee information I'm saving here. So if you need any calculations, let's say if you are doing recharge, you entered some amount here from the front end and you clicked on submit button. So you read that request for your Geo number. I want to recharge monthly a package which is 300 rupees. So that amount I will get here. Once I get to the business need to understand whether this particular person is having balance in his account or not. So it will fetch the balance. Still, if you have validity, how much validity you have? Let's say we have already 10 days. 10 days plus the next one, they need to add the remaining 28 days. So all these calculations, identifying your balance and summing up your validity date, right? If there is any minus balance, the deducting minus days, all such operations need to be happened here. If you are doing fund transfer from your account, it need to deduct the balance and they need to, update the new balance. So all that business operations will happen here once after reading the data. Then the updated data will be saved into database via DAO. All CRUD operations, database logics, creating statement, executing, all stuff we will put here. Okay. Yeah.
yes, sir, clear.
Yeah. But this is simple architecture. You should not ignore it. Everybody should follow it. Okay. This is the first architecture pattern that everybody should learn. If somebody asks which is architecture pattern that you are following, first you should say MVC. Everybody follow this architecture. Okay. So MVC is the first architecture that everybody should learn. Okay. Now coming to Spring discussion, will Spring help you to implement this MVC based application? It will help. Okay. Spring will help you end to end from presentation to DAO. All these layers, right? To implement all these layers, Spring will given features. As part of Spring framework, they given features to implement all the layers. Views you can create, controllers you can create, business you can write. Okay. Beautiful concepts they given. And they minimized the coding. Earlier, right, lot of logic we used to write for controllers, for business, DAO, right? What they did, they simplified it. They simplified it and given with easy framework, right? Earlier cooking is very difficult when you do imagine when you don't have gas or inductions. People used to use, the old methodologies. Now you got so much comfort. If you want to cook a food, you have framework like cooker. Cooker is a framework. You put electric cooker, you put rice, and when you switch on, automatically it will cook your food. And if you want to prepare dal, you have pressure cookers. You will put dal in that, automatically it will cook it. You will add all ingredients. So no much complications here to implement or to cook your application. It is easy. Already they given frameworks. Just you need to add your ingredients and just switch on. That's it. So they made it very simple in this framework. They implemented a lot internally and given to us. Just we need to understand how to use it. That's it. Okay. So we need to start that from IOC framework, core framework. Okay. From Spring framework, we need to start with Spring core module. Okay. We call all these are modules. Okay. These 7 modules are important. Out of the 7, core module is very, very important. Okay. So once who got understand core module, right, they can easily drive all the modules, easily understand. They can read new things also in future, new updates coming. Easily they can Google and they can learn new things also. So for all that, you need to learn core module first. So the core module is very important here. So if we start with core module, if we start with Spring core module, right, what they have given as part of this core module. Okay, before going to core module, one term container you need to understand. Already you might aware, but before discussing it, right, container. You should know about containers. You should know about containers. Very, very important. What are these containers? What they do? What is the need of container? You should learn. Okay. Basically, containers are runtime environments. Containers are runtime environments. So far, if you learn with CoreJava, where do you run your class? Basically, in CoreJava, you develop your code as a developer. You develop your code using JDK. You install JDK in your machine, and you will be writing a class. During development time, anywhere JDK is required, even in core or servlets or Spring. Without JDK, we can't perform any Java logic. So you implemented a class here, class test, and you have a main method here. String arguments we will have. So this is my class. How do you run this class? First, you will compile this class using Java C compiler. You compile this class. You know how to compile it. Using Java C, when you compile it, compiler will generate one .class file, test.class. Usually first you will save it as a file, test.java. This Java file will be converted into .class file. Who convert it? Your Java compiler. Java compiler will convert from .java to compile .class file. If your code is good, then it will compile. If your code is not good, compiler will throw errors. Okay. Once compilation is done, we will use JRE here. JDK usually will come up with both JRE and development kit. JDK will have both JDK plus JRE. JRE is a runtime environment. In this JRE, you will have Java software, Java C software, Java software. Java C software job is converting .java file to .class file. Java software job is loading this .class file into your machine. So as soon as you converted .class file, right, using Java, you will be running it. As soon as you run it, right, this class will be loaded into your RAM. On your RAM, for Java, they'll provide some memory, JVM. Into that JVM, it will create object. As soon as you run, right, where all your applications finally will live. Applications development will happen, your Zoom meeting, Paint or Windows or whatever it is. After code, whenever you start Windows, right, your Windows machine softwares will load it into your RAM. It will create all the objects of your, paint we are using. Paint object will be created in RAM. We are using Zoom object created. If they are designed in Java, even .NET also, or C or C++ also. So all your applications are running in RAM only currently. If I shut down, all this will be killed. Until shutdown, your applications will be running here in RAM. Even your Zoom, your paint application, right? Recording, command prompt, everything on your RAM itself. Similar way, your Java objects also in RAM, they will create objects here, test object. Your test object also now lies in RAM itself. We call it as special memory JVM. For Java, they'll allocate some memory out of RAM that we will use. Yeah. So finally, your object will exist here. So who is the container now for your IOC? Who is basically creating objects on your RAM end of the day? Java. Who is helping to run your application? Development is done. After development, who is helping you to run? Java. So this Java is a container for your core Java applications. Java is a container. Who is creating objects means your Java. Java is creating objects on your RAM. So you can call it as a container. Who is helping you to bring objects into live is the container. For simple core Java applications, your Java software itself is a container. Now, if you go one step ahead, servlets we will use. J2EE came up with the servlets concept. So using J2EE servlets, you can implement web applications. Web applications in the sense, if you have views, right? HTML, add employee, .html. If you have your form, name, email, address. To read this form data, right? Servlet components given to us from front end to back end if you want to send your data. So this add HTML will be part of your browser. You will load one URL. So your HTML code will run in browser. End of the day, your HTML code rendered into browser, Chrome or IE, somewhere in browser, this code will execute it. Basically, HTML tags will come to Chrome. Chrome will convert tags to view. Okay. So something DOM parsing will happen in the behind. So the DOM parsers will convert your HTML to view. So who is the runtime environment here for this HTML pages? Who is helping to show the presentation of your HTML? Your browsers only. Browsers are the containers. Browsers are the containers who give life to your HTML. You written the code, fine. But who will compile your HTML code? Browser only. So browser is the container for your presentation. Browser is the container. So here browser is the container for your presentation. Okay. Then what about my Java classes? So you need to write one servlet class here to read data which is coming from front end. You need to write a servlet class. So that servlet class can read data which is coming from front end. But who create this object? Have you seen any servlet created inside main method? We never use main method in servlets. We never created any servlets using main method. Then who is creating servlet class object? You are not creating it. So servlets need to configure it in a way into one Tomcat server. We will be using Tomcat server, Tomcat. We will use Tomcat. So Tomcat is having a framework code implemented already. They implemented some logic using Java reflection API. Tomcat server is implemented already, right? They have already Tomcat implementation here. There is some code already in Tomcat. There is some code. They implemented it. And this code will do what? It will expect one web.xml file from your application. It will expect a web.xml file. So as soon as you write this servlet, right? Servlet purpose is read data which is coming from front end. Okay, you need to implement your code, that is fine. You are reading data, name, email, you will read here, which is coming from front end. But who will create object? I implemented code, but this code need a object. Somewhere this object need to create it. Who do that? As soon as you configure your servlet into web.xml file, this web.xml file will read by your Tomcat code. Okay, Tomcat server, basically it is a special software. So this software also need to have a code. That code will do what? It will read your web.xml file. From this web.xml file, it will read your servlet class. Then it will create object for servlet. Where end of the day, your objects are creating in RAM only. Which object? The servlet object will be created. Who creates? Tomcat will create. Earlier, we understand that the object is directly created by main method, but now we are not using any main method and we are not entertaining it. Just we are creating class, just compiling and configuring it in web.xml file. And here Tomcat is helping you to create the object. Tomcat will help you to create objects. Which objects? Servlet objects. Servlets are special classes designed for Tomcat. So servlet object created by Tomcat. So now the life given to your servlet is Tomcat. So then you can call Tomcat as a container. Tomcat as a container. Tomcat as a container for your servlet class. Tomcat as a container for your servlet class, because servlet classes are created by Tomcat only. Okay, so when you use presentations will be loaded into browsers. Browsers are containers. Browser only will convert your code into presentation view. As soon as you write your HTML code and you load it into browser, browser will do all that compilation and execution of your HTML code. So the responsible for HTML is browser only. And the responsible for backend servlet class is Tomcat. Okay, for controller, it is providing support. As per MVC's architecture, are there any other components given? Controller. What about service and DAO? Before Spring came into the market, that was very difficult. Spring made things, 99.99% burden reduced. If you imagine 100 days work in other frameworks, that will be reduced to 1-2 days work in Spring. That much burden they reduced. So before Spring, controller part is okay with servlet. Coming to business implementation and DAO implementation, people mostly used to depend on EJBs. EJB session beans. Learning and coding EJB components are very difficult. EJB session beans and EJB entity beans. This is the framework that Java given. Session beans and entity beans. So using session beans, we used to implement all the business logic here. Business logic. And using entity beans, we used to write all the CRUD operations here. Just a minute, guys. Hello? Yeah. Yes. Okay, 10 minutes and okay. Na? So all the CRUD operations we used to do in entity beans. Okay. Who used to run these classes? Who bring the life for them? Again, like Tomcat, we used to have EJB server. So EJB server, like WebLogic will provide them. WebLogic or JBoss. We call them application servers. These application servers usually will have Tomcat support as well as EJB support. So here we used to have, we call this as servlet container. Servlet container. Are you all following me?
Yes, sir.
And to run EJB classes, we used to have EJB container. We used to have EJB container for EJB classes. Who bring life to this EJB session beans and entity beans? Your EJB container. EJB container, end of the day, it will create your objects into RAM. So your objects will be created here, EJB session beans and entity beans. Your servlet, entity beans, session beans and entity beans. End of the day, all these objects need to be created. Otherwise, how they will handle your request? Request came till here. From here, the request should go here. From here, the request should go here. So to take the request, they should get the life. Life means they should run on your machine. Running on your machine means creating objects. So session beans objects will be created here via EJB container. Entity beans objects also will be created here so that their life is started. So then you can utilize them. Finally, entity beans will connect with database and they store data into database. So difficult to learn this architecture. EJB session beans and entity beans are very difficult to write. And end of the day, if your investment is very small, you can't buy application servers and you can't maintain your code there. So Spring people means whoever worked on EJBs, they realized that these components are very difficult. Writing code is difficult. And again, end of the day, we have server dependency. For small code also, we need to spend a lot of hours here and we need to code. So they realized all these problems. And slowly people thought to, why can't we make the similar components without these container dependencies? So one of the EJB member came out and he created one alternate for this EJB entity beans. He made it very simple and he named it Hibernate. Hibernate framework he created. And for these controllers and EJBs, to make again them simple and to make Hibernate also simple, on top of all this, Spring came. Spring came here to make all the things are easy. For controllers, they given Spring MVC. Using Spring MVC, even you can create views, controllers. And to write business classes, they given Spring AOP module, Spring transactions. Mostly these are the important features that for business. Otherwise, your business algorithms, you can write it in CoreJava only. Apart from CoreJava, you need AOP features and transaction features. So that features it will provide for the business. I'm talking about Spring modules. MVC module will help you for views, controllers. AOP and transactions will help you for business code. And to write DAOs, Spring Jdbc module given, and to use Spring with Hibernate, they given ORM to integrate with Hibernate, ORM given. And here, if you want to apply security, Spring security given. End of the day, when you want to run all these classes, they given containers who will bring life to all your classes, controllers, business, and DO classes, which are implemented in Spring. You have to load all these classes into IOC container. IOC container will create objects for you. In your RAM, all your objects. Controller object, business objects, DO objects will be created and managed by IOC. IOC is the container who manage your objects. So they designed self-containers and given to us. Earlier, servlets we used to write by using Java API, and then again we will use Tomcat separate software. EJBs we will write using EJB API, then again we will install separate WebLogic software. Here, while using Spring, you need not use any special software here. So the container given in the form of jars only. This IOC container is available in your Spring jars only. Inside the Spring jars only, you have this IOC library, MVC, security, AOP, transactions, all features given as part of Spring jars only. So just you need to download that jars and utilize it. You just need to know how to use them. That's it. That is what learning Spring is. You need to know how to use them. That's it. So the main importantly, first thing that we need to learn is IOC. how to use this IOC. That is what you need to learn first. IOC. Okay. So I'll give one example, just one example. Monday we will again go through this discussion. One small example I'll give you.
Sir, will you help us to set up the environment?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So one of my team member will be available to you. So even he or me, we will help you during the session also, right? If you need anything, any help, you can reach out to me.
Hello, sir. Sorry to interrupt. I'm a new joiner. I need a means all recorded session. How I will do?
Everything will be available. So far we had 2-3 discussions, right? That discussion video is already there. 1, 2, 3.
Yes,
Fourth
yes.
discussion will be added here. Okay. So the fourth discussion also will be placed here. So you can go through this. And regular recordings, one portal will be shared with you. So via that portal, you can get the daily basis videos. I'll be sharing my portal with everyone. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
I mean, what is the prerequisite to learn this MVC and Spring Boot?
CoreJava.
CoreJava is enough, right?
Yeah.
CoreJava with SQL is fine.
Yeah. I'll brush up you basic Jdbc concepts also, and
Yeah.
Servlet 1, 2 Servlet examples. So
Yeah.
nothing much expecting here. Basics. What is class? What is object? If you know, that is sufficient for me, to be frank.
Okay, thank you.
Basically, whoever learns CoreJava, they don't get the realization of real-time application. I mean, because until unless they see the end-to-end. So their realization will start from here. Once they start end-to-end application, right, they will realize what is the importance of OOPS concepts, what is the importance of exception handling, or what is the importance of collections or streams, threads. Okay. So then you will go back and you will brush up your CoreJava knowledge. Maybe you got with basics from the CoreJava. The realization you will get as soon as you learn these MVCs, right? End-to-end applications, more realization you will get from your CoreJava also. So I'm creating a folder here just to show you how containers will work. Okay. One fast example I'll show you here quickly. Others wants to join in the same line. Okay. Let us conclude this session as soon as possible. Okay. So I'll be writing one simple class here. New class. Consider this is your employee controller. So simple classes only you need to write. Spring never force you to implement blah, blah, blah. So just write a plain Java class. So I have plain Java class. Now I'll show you how this object created by IOC. Okay. You just need one XML file. One Spring XML file. In that Spring XML file, you should configure your class. So there is a main root to tag. Always this is same. You are not going to change anything here. Just you will be adding your classes here. Bean class name, package name dot your controller, employee controller. So this is how you need to do configuration. In advanced level, no configuration, 0 configurations required, but showing you very basic example, right? That's why I'm configuring it here. Controller is configured. Then you need to load it into your container. The third step, write class, configure it in XML file, and use IOC container. application context. This is the container. So this is the server. Earlier servers are special softwares. Tomcat, you need to download a special software. Have you guys tried ever? Or you know about Tomcat? It's a special software. You have to
Yes, sir,
download
we
it.
tried.
Yeah, you have to download that special software into your machine, then you can use it. Yeah. Somewhere I created backup, but yeah, you need to download WebLogic or Tomcat and you need to start them. They will give start, stop buttons, but it is not showing or showcasing all that. Just given as a simple Java class. Now server is simple Java class. Now server is simple Java class. Forget about special software. Now no special software. Simple Java class is a server. Itself internally having that capabilities. Just you need to load your XML file here, resources slash string dot XML. That's it. What I have in this XML file, my class. Is this class object is going to create by this server or container? Yes. Start and see. If you don't create, ask me. See, your employee object created. That is what earlier this EJB containers, servlets used to do. That time we don't have any other opportunities. Slowly technology, getting improved. Like how earlier we don't have cars with diesel or petrol. We used to use coal. Then fuel is invented. Then petrol cars, diesel cars, CNG cars. Now technology is improved more. They are using battery cars. Now it is improved a lot. We are using Tesla kind of cars, automatic driving cars. So technology also day by day improved. And finally they made it simple. Spring is the one like Tesla. They made things are very simple. You need not to know everything. Just buy it and set it in the car, set your destination. It will drive for you. But earlier, you need to have a lot of skills to drive a car. Okay, as a comparison, I'm giving you, but a little bit code is required here also. Okay, whatever customizations you need to do that. Otherwise, writing MVC is simple. Bring your friend who even don't know about technology, who passed 10th class or whoever it is. They also can learn and implement applications. Learning Spring is not difficult. Just you need to put your brain here. That's it. Okay, this is the container. That's it. No complications, no much configurations. Just write. I'm writing all my classes, configuring it in XML, loading it into container bus. Your job is done.
Just simple Java program only.
Simple.
So, but in servlet, it's very difficult.
Servlets are, you are thinking servlets difficult, but if you see EJBs, they are 100 times difficult than servlets. We used to play with servlets and EJBs. Daily, I used to implement 4 or 5 applications, student applications. So that much easy servlets. But imagine Java, EJBs. I hardly did few examples on EJBs while I was learning. That itself is very difficult for me. Lot of compilations for small change also. Again, EAR file conversions. Rightly, I need to place it into WebLogic. Then I have to start. Finally, it may start or it may give fail. Lot of troubles I see, and then I frustrated and left the EJB concepts itself. But they are powerful components. There we don't have any other opportunity. By the time EJBs are powerful. Before EJBs, people used to use something in Java itself. We have Corba or whatever it is the name. We used to use that coding technique. Corba, I think. What is the technology name itself? Corba. No, even I can't read. You can read it if you want. Before EJBs, people used to write all the business and that stuff in Corba. Maybe that is difficult one. That difficulty they reduced maybe in EJBs. But everything removed, the learning curve, right? Here to learn itself, years together you need to spend. That learning curve also simple here. You need not to, stretch too much here. You need not to break your head to learn. It is simple. Anybody can learn and anybody can code. Finally, what we will implement? End-to-end MVC only we will implement. So finally, the things are learning here to create this views controller business DAO only. The end of the day goal is, are you able to implement this application or not? If you are not able to implement means you missed concepts. If you are able to implement means you followed all the concepts. That's it. Okay. So Monday, again, depth container discussion I'll do. Okay. So people, DURGASOFT admin will share you regular link. So as soon as they share regular link, right? Share me that email confirmation or something with me. I'll be sharing you video portal also, the regular video portal. There your daily based videos also will be uploaded. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Are you guys clear? So do with your payments from Monday. You will be joining in. Go to meeting link. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So yeah, for the payments side, right? Already they must have shared details here. If not, let me share them. And reach out to me. My number also given. And WhatsApp. Are you all joined that WhatsApp group?
No, not yet.
Let me share the WhatsApp group link also. So this is our group. Please join here. Copying link, sharing it here. Okay, I'm the admin there, right? You can reach out to me anytime. So my two numbers are there, 918266 and 720711. Both are mine only. You can ping me for any help. Okay. Are you all able to see this WhatsApp group link? If yes, please join there. Okay.
Yes.
All our friends join already. Please join there. From Monday, you will be getting for Monday session, right? 7:30 onwards, 7:30 to 8. 7 to 8 or 7:30 to 8:30. Mostly 7 only. So we will be joining on that link.
I mean, make it by 7 now because all
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to go for office.
Sure. So we will start by 7 only. That link you will be getting. Okay. And payment details, if you need, I can help you here. They shared in a mail. Yeah. So during payments or if you see any problems, right, reach out to me. Yeah, we'll start by 7 only. Message is too long. Okay, let me paste it in our group. Okay, I shared the payment details in WhatsApp group. You guys can see, and as soon as you confirmed, please reach out to admin team. If they are not answering, reach out to me. Okay, I'll help
I mean,
you.
by Sunday evening we can do the payment, right?
Yeah.
Like the staff will be available, correct?
You can do payment anytime. Google Pay number they given. Just do the
Okay.
payment and share that screenshot with me if they are not
Okay.
available. Okay.
When when will I get the link, regular link from the meeting?
As soon as you do the payment, they will share it, or you can reach out to me. I'll share it. I have already that link.
I have done my payment, but I didn't receive any means recording session. How I will get means?
No, yeah,
Can
I'll
you
share
send
it.
me the-
I will share it. Okay, everyone. As soon as you join the regular link on Monday, right? In the
Okay.
session itself, I'll explain how to use that link and I'll share it with everyone. For now, take break for this weekend. Okay, just relax, and
Okay.
yeah, Monday I'll share it.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So that's all, guys. If no doubts, right, we will drop. Others are waiting, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
See you guys on Monday session. Till then, Happy weekend.
Thank you. Happy weekend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.